What's up, people? How's it going? Welcome to this channel, which hasn't got a name yet. Basically, my little announcement to start off with, I'm changing this channel up a little bit. What we're going to do is it's not going to be fully focused around the football podcast. It's going to be like a whole bunch of podcasts and a bunch of different issues. So everyone can kind of come to me and I can kind of, I guess, interview you on different kind of things you want to talk about. So I'm going to change the podcast name. Drop some suggestions in the comments and my Instagram, which will either appear here or in the comments. In the description. I can't speak. So everybody, that's kind of what's going to be happening. I'll change the name of the channel. It'll have a new picture. I'll edit all that stuff. And basically, it's going to have a whole bunch of different podcasts, depending on what everyone wants to talk about. Today is, as you can see by the 4 brown people on screen, we're talking about Bollywood. So this is going to be fun. So to start off with, a little, actually very sad note to start off with. As everyone might have heard recently, Sushant Singh Rajput has committed suicide, which is incredibly sad. And the first thing I want to say about that issue is, guys, mental health can affect anyone. Like a lot of people, I know I've heard a couple of things when people, they see famous people, successful people, and they think, oh, why would they commit suicide? Why would they be sad? It can affect anyone and everyone. Anyone can have depression. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. So, the important thing in a situation like this is, however happy someone seems to you, like in front of you, that anyone could be suffering. So please be there for your friends, be approachable, be given the opportunity to speak to you. And if you are feeling down, please go speak to people. I'll put some links in the description for helplines. Please speak to people, try and communicate with the people who are close to you. And yeah, I mean, never kind of have that mentality, because I've seen a couple of people who have that mentality, I'm not wanted, or it's the end of the road. It's never the case. There's always people who want you, and there's always more of the road to go. So please, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, look out for each other. So guys, do you guys have anything particular you want to say about the actor, a little tribute? I'll hand over to Suki. Go on.
Yeah, obviously I just thought it was like so shocking to see, because, you know, obviously his career, he had quite a few like very good films, and I think he was one of the most like effortless and like natural actors as well. And he had obviously a lot going for him, but I think from interviews that I'd seen, like even in the past, looking back after the context of what happened, I think you could see that he was really like, his work was kind of his life. Like when he was asked about his hobbies and stuff, he said he didn't really have many friends, and obviously that showed that he didn't really have that many people to talk to in case if he had a problem as well. And I think at that stage that he was at, like he probably had more people asking him for like favors rather than people actually asking how he was. And I think it's just important that you need to have people that listen to you at that stage, and at any level really. You just need people to listen so you can kind of vent your feelings, and sometimes that's all you need.
Also really important to be kind, because he didn't come from much. Like he literally came from like a small village in Bihar in India, and like he earned this name for himself through television and stuff. And he was successful. He was seeking help, like he was in therapy, but obviously we don't know what happened. Like we don't know the battles he was facing within himself. So it is really important, and you don't know what anyone is going through, whether they be famous or like a regular person. So it's just so important to be kind, because it's the least you can do, and there's no reason to be mean, because you don't know what anyone's going through.
Yeah. And also on the topic of like mental health, I feel like, I mean, from my opinion, I feel like in India, mental health is kind of like a taboo, and people don't really speak about it.
It's still kind of stigmatized, you know. Which,
exactly.
especially for men, because they're kind of taught not to feel and to like suppress it down. Personally, I feel.
Definitely.
So I think there does need to be a more open conversation. Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, so bunch of really good points there. Again, an amazing actor. Like I said, I've only seen one of his movies, which was Kai Pochia. I don't know if you guys like. I think you guys have seen it. I don't know if my audience has seen it. It's an incredible movie. Guys, go check it out. And Suki was right. Like he's just such a natural actor. Loads of talent. It's really shocking to see him gone.
Yeah.
And so
sorry to interrupt, but what's even more shocking, I think, for people is the fact that his last movie that he did was a movie called Chichore, and the entire point of it,
the whole
premise of it was that suicide is not the option, and that even though it seems like it's the end of the road, it's not the end of the road. So I think that really hit hard because he was the one who was literally giving the advice. His character in the movie was the one who was saying,
father.
yeah, he was saying all these things, and it was his son who committed suicide. So I really can't. I just hope his father has all the strength that he needs right now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, our prayers go out to his family, and I hope they get through this. And I hope he has found peace. So, on a slightly, I guess, happier notes, but we are going to slag off a bunch of movies, so let's see where we go with this. We're going to start talking about recent movies, kind of their social context in India, and some of them just like, are they good movies? So we got a list here that we kind of drew up. Guys, feel free to chuck in movies that you want to mention if we're talking about certain topics, whatever. Because like, we're having a chat, we're talking about movies, having a laugh. Let's see where we go with this. So first thing I want to raise, an interesting movie that has come out recently, Tapad, which incredible movie if you guys haven't gone out and seen it. I should probably say from this point onwards, there might be a couple of spoilers here, there, and everywhere. So I'll put a list of the movies that we talk about in the description. So if you guys want to go ahead and watch the movies before you come onto this, feel free. If you don't mind spoilers, great, watch ahead. If you've seen it, wonderful. So Tapad, first one, great movie. Honestly, amazing acting in the film. Loads of talent, but also it's an important social issue, like respecting your partner, respecting women, and how small things like that can actually, like how it can affect a person. Because sometimes like it can be a bit worrying, but sometimes in certain parts of India as well, that kind of slapping a wife does not seem so shocking. Like it can be common in certain parts, but it's good that they've kind of brought it into the light here in this movie. You're going to know, you look like you're about to say something.
I just liked how they had kind of different, because obviously the main characters seem to be kind of from a well-off family who had things going from them. They weren't like seen as the the lower people that normally you associate with these kind of things, but you saw that it can literally happen to anyone, and you saw different people's perspective of it. You saw her parents and how they reacted, his parents and how they reacted, and even to an extent all the women around her and how they were telling her to be like to get over it.
Yeah, definitely.
And she stood her ground because she knew that what happened was wrong, which is so.
I think the script. Sorry, I think the script to the film was incredible because, like, the way they made sure that he tried to make up for it without actually saying sorry all the way throughout till the end.
Yeah.
So in that sense of the way, it was kind of like saying, like, he was trying to say, like, it's fine, I'm sorry, but without actually apologizing, without actually saying what I did was wrong.
It also showed kind of like, because at the end of the day, right, the whole premise, the reason that he did it was because his ego was bruised. Like, he worked so hard for this promotion and then he ended up not getting it. And then throughout, he talks about how bruised his ego is and how there were so many people at the party and she should just let it go, how it's affecting his mother and how it's ruining his life because she's decided to take a stand. And in the like right at the end, like literally in the last scene is where he turns around and he's like, I had to sit down and I thought about it from your perspective and I understand and I'm sorry and I'm willing to change. Yeah,
definitely. And like there was a scene which I don't know if you guys remember, it's quite important when his boss tells him, like, you're angry at us, why are you slapping your wife? And that's important because sometimes it can, like, sometimes when you're close to people it's much easier to take out on them. And what we like, that
just
movie really shows,
right?
Exactly. And it's really important to kind of show sensitivity. And also, like, you're annoyed about a promotion, yes, and maybe maybe you should have got that promotion, maybe it was wrong on his boss's part, but you're in a social setting, you need to kind of keep your head, because it's not just about it's not maybe you've hurt her feelings, you've actually hurt her, you've slapped her, but also it's so disrespectful because a slap is
and there were so many people there and they all were like looking at him. He was literally making a scene.
Yeah, it's very humiliating and you can't be doing that. And I think it's really important because it really enforces showing respect to your partner, because a lot of movies, like especially commercial movies, which they kind of, the female figure is always kind of what's a nice way to put this, she's there for distress. Yeah, exactly, she's damsel in distress, she's there for attention, like that, like she's not really there because, and we'll actually mention this in a couple of movies later on, she's not there because like there's any sort of like there's nothing to her really. So
she's very two-dimensional. She's not like a rounded out character.
She's a supporting character, you know. She's there for him, for his.
She's there for the glamour, for his character to progress.
Yeah, exactly. And this movie, and the thing is, this movie was nice because a lot of the time you either get really male-dominated movies or you get movies where the female is the lead and she's like the main thing. But this was nice because it put everyone like, it brought out everyone's personalities. It's like every person is important, and like and you might be the successful whatever, but she's keeping your life going in the background. Like sometimes you do need to give respect to the housewives, because however successful you are, whatever business you might make millions, you might do whatever, but like there's someone who's running the show at home. There's someone who is keeping the house going. And yeah, they didn't have kids, but there's many like housewives and mothers who sit at home and they keep everything going. It's not an easy job. So it's good that this movie put a lot of respect on that. Go on.
I think also it was kind of relatable. Like they weren't loaded, or they weren't characters who were so out of the realm of understanding. Like they are people, you could see someone like that on the street, and I think that's also what really brought it home, because this could be anyone.
Exactly right. And the thing is, you mentioned earlier that they usually show quite downtrodden people behaving like this, and the important thing to realize is, like, a lack of civilized behavior, or the lack of like respect to certain people can occur in every kind of social status. Like you can be a farmer, and you could be someone who's really struggling, and that is usually how they're portrayed, like the people who aren't that civilized or whatever. You could be like that, but you could also be incredibly civilized and educated. That might just be your circumstances. Or you could be incredibly well off. You could be a CEO like the guy was in the movie. You could be making tons of money, except for going abroad, which is a big milestone when you're in India, like that. And like you have all those you might have that status, but if you can't respect the person who you've chosen to spend your life with, the person who is like supporting you at home, like that is actually arguably more important. To be able to give respect to other people, to show kindness to other people, that is more important like than success. And that the movie did that really well. And the thing is, it's such an original idea. Like I know we're going to talk about something like lack of originality a bit later on, but like it's really important. I can see that smile. Like that's going to get us all angry, but we'll get onto that in a bit. But the important thing is, it's such an original idea. You don't see things like this often. So yeah, great. We're now going to talk about quite a difficult topic, so which is rape. We've seen a couple of big movies with regards to rape, but two very different ideas. Now, the two movies I'm going to bring forward are Mardani 2 and Section 375. Now, they both talk about rape, but in two very, very different contexts. We'll first talk about Mardani 2. Who's seen it out of you guys?
I have not yet.
That's cool if you haven't.
I also haven't seen it.
Cool. Okay, this is my section then.
Only you have.
Fun.
Go off, Manny.
So there will be movies later on that you guys have seen that I haven't seen. So we each have our section. So basically, it's about like a serial rapist, but he's super like smart. He's like a young guy, but he's a bit of a psycho, and he goes around like he's kind of clever in the way he does it. And to an extent, in the movie, like halfway through, I was watching it with my family, and we were just sitting there going, "Oh wow, this guy is smart." Like you've got to not credit the things that he's doing, but credit the way he's going about it, because he at one point, so obviously at the start, Rani Mukherjee is introduced as the hardcore policewoman. Like another thing I really liked about it is usually with a hardcore police figure, it's usually a male. And they've brought in a female actress, good one, an actress. So I really enjoyed that. I thought it was nice, and she did the role incredibly well, and I really respect that. So she comes in, and she's obviously chasing this rapist. And the thing is, he's so smart, because at points he appears in front of her. Like for example, he like serves tea to all the policemen, and she doesn't know it's him. It's crazy, and it's important because that movie, while it comes across as this crazy like mystery action thing, but it's important to realize how dangerous it can be for women in India. And the thing is, like we really count ourselves lucky, because here the issues still are there, but like women are a lot safer over here, in the UK, and we do count ourselves very lucky. Our women are safe. The people who are with us are safe, but like where we come from, like it's such a problem, because in that movie it was just so easy for him to pick these ladies out. And obviously sometimes the like, actually no, all the time they tend not to be that like this smart about it. Like he like switches phones, and he tricks them into coming with him and all sorts. Like he's a tiny, like really scrawny guy. Like he's not gonna overpower anyone and take them. Like he's very smart about the way he does it. But usually it's women who get like abducted. It's very crude and horrible. And the thing is like I see this phrase all the time. I think it's really important. They don't say like tell your women to be safe. Like you have to educate your men to respect them. Like
Yeah.
and that's so important. And it's shocking that so many people go about doing things like this. And this movie also, it shows you like, yeah, rape is probably the worst. Rape is the worst thing. But even at a low level, like the respect for women, just this movie I think was smart in the fact that it had a female lead. Not just because you're talking about like rape and all sorts, but it's also about like respecting women. Like you've got to show that she's the head. And they actually also had another policeman who kind of at the start, he wasn't all like for her because she's a woman, her ideas and all that, but he was a complete dumbass. Like he had no idea what he was doing, and like she had to like basically kind of help him along the way. And towards the end he realized like she might be a woman, but she knows what she's doing. So like, do you guys have any thoughts on like rape as like
the way that they went about it? I haven't personally watched the movie, but it does sound a lot like what Ted Bundy used to do to his victims, because he used to have this demeanor, and you know, he used to like wear a cast and stuff, and so he used to seem like helpless and stuff, and that's how he did used to lure his victims. And he was very smart. Like if you look at the documentaries about him and stuff and the movies about him, he is very smart in the way he went about things, but at the end of the day he still did get caught, and he is a very horrible man. So it's kind of like that sort of way that he went. That's what it sounds like. Like,
and another thing is, obviously I'm not going to condone anything that psychopaths do, but being a psychopath is a mental condition. If you recognize that there are certain traits in people that you're close to that could be troublesome, this goes back to supporting the people that are with you. Get them checked out. Like that's the thing. Like I watch. I don't know if any of you guys watch the Infographic show on YouTube, but it's really interesting. It's a bunch of like factual stuff, and like some of it is really fun. Like, could you survive against the Joker and stuff like that? It's like some of it's really fun. Some of them like gives you a lot of information and stuff like that. But they talk about like the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath. And the thing is, some of these traits are really, really obvious. And the thing is like that people need to be a bit more observant of the people close to you, because we don't want people like that just running right around. We want them to get better. And obviously we're not just going to condemn them straight away. It is a mental condition. So I think people like that, it just goes back to being able to support your people. Like, and yeah, we need to educate our men. Like women are just as capable as men. And
that's why I think, sorry, finish.
They're just as capable as men, and we can't just, because rape eventually, it's not just about like its sexual nature. It's about overpowering a woman, and like all these things. Like they're just as capable. This movie showed it had a female lead, Tuppered. Like it showed that like they're off the same level. They have the same emotions that we have. They have the same capabilities that we have. Like we can't just put them down for the sake of, because we're men, because like it's meaningless being a man unless you've done something with yourself. Like does that make sense? Like unless you've proven to yourself you respect other people, that you achieve something, that's what matters in life, not are you a man or a woman. So yeah, go on, you had something to say.
I just think I was going to say that Bollywood is actually such a good way to do it, especially for the Indian market, because so many people watch Bollywood movies, and like even if you live in rural villages, you still get that exposure to movies and stuff. And using like big names like Taapsee Pannu, Rani Mukherjee, who have a following and who people respect and admire, like people are going to go watch their movies. So using this platform of Bollywood is a really good way to get out messages that do need to be told to the public, because it does reach most people.
Yep. Cool. Now, the other side of that is Section 375. Now, this, again, incredible movie. Arishi will back me on this. Have you seen it, Suki?
Very good.
Yeah. I have, with Akshay
Yeah.
Khanna, isn't it?
Yeah.
I watched
Uh-huh.
half of it.
Okay, that works.
good.
We can talk about your half as well. So basically, incredible movie, incredibly well done. It's obviously it's kind of a drama, I guess. It's a like a law drama.
Courtroom drama.
Courtroom drama. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, my brain does not work. So yeah, courtroom drama, but it brings in rape, and you think the whole time that that it's just about convicting, because it's basically about a director who has been accused of rape by a costume designer, I think she is. So they're like that she's been raped, and as you continue, and like Akshay Khanna is like this big shot lawyer, he's like the best lawyer in that area, and so he supports the director, and you're thinking, wow, I thought he was meant to be the good guy. Why is he supporting a rapist? And the thing is, they show the girl being raped at the start, and you think, okay, well, she's been raped. This is open and shut. Let's see what happens. And as it unravels, you start to realize that actually she's not been raped. She had an affair with him, and he tried to cut the affair off later on. But she had an affair with him.
And she's salty.
Yeah, but also the affair boosted her up. Like
like she wants to be famous.
Yeah, exactly. It boosted her in her career. So the thing is, at the end, again, I already said spoilers, so I'm just gonna go ahead with this. At the end, she does say like, what was done to me is like rape, because he used the affair to give me an opportunity to boost up. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to go up. But having said that, we do find out at the end that she falsely accused him, and that's actually what Akshay Khanna was trying to support. And the lawyer who was supporting her was, when she admits at the end, well, because she wins the case. Okay, so back again. What was I saying before?
Section 375.
Section 375. Suki, man. I really don't want to edit this out. Like, I kind of don't want to edit
No.
I really don't want to. Okay,
right.
Moving on. Wow, we need to get back into the serious zone, guys. Come on. So it shows like how someone is falsely accused, which is also kind of a big issue. There are a lot of, like Arishi said, when women get salty, not all women, I don't want to categorize everyone, but there have been cases where women have been upset and they have falsely accused. And the thing is, a rape allegation is like a really, really terrible allegation. It's not like
it's not something to mess about with.
Yeah, it's really not something to be messed about with, because you can ruin a guy's life. And the thing is, as we showed in that movie, a respected director, yeah, he did have an affair, which obviously we don't condone here. Or anywhere for that matter. I don't know why I said here. Well, we four don't condone it. But the thing is, like, yeah, what he did was wrong, but it wasn't a crime. But the fact she put him down for a crime, just because she was unhappy that the affair ended. And also, actually, at the end, there's a very powerful scene where
I saw that scene where she watches him like drive off.
Oh, I was talking about a different scene, but cool, that works as well. Like, basically, where they replay the rape scene from the start, but show what actually happened, and it's very obvious that it's not a rape, and you're like, wow. And it is like a bit of a roller coaster with the audience. What do you guys have to say on it? I've talked loads. What do you guys have to say on it?
I think, well, from my perspective, I think it's obviously an important issue to talk about. I think they showed it really well, because a lot of the times when you hear about it, I mean, obviously, usually it is the guy's fault, but I think they showed both sides in such a good way that it was like, you could see, it was difficult to pick a side almost, like you could see arguments from both sides. I feel at the end though, if they kind of left it ambiguous for you to decide like whether it actually happened or not, that might have been better. But that's from a thriller standpoint, like for an entertaining movie. But I think obviously it was good to show that, obviously from both perspectives what happened. Yeah, great movie.
Yeah.
I have something in my eye, sorry.
I just thought
great
you were, emotional.
Arushi, what do you have to say on this movie? Do you have any thoughts?
You've pretty much covered it. Have any of you guys watched Guilty on Netflix?
Oh yeah, that film.
No.
No.
So
What's a little
I think I
smile?
was,
No,
I
no, I
mentioned it
mean,
to Manny. Go on, Saki.
no, go on. No, you speak about
I
it.
mentioned it to Manny like yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's low key similar, but like flipped. So a girl like that no one likes, she's always making stuff up, always like boasting and whatever else, trying to ruin other people's lives. Accuses some girl's boyfriend of raping her. And it's kind of similar in the sense where everyone's like, there's no way he could have done it. He's great. He's our friend. All of that.
Oh,
And kind of,
okay.
you get to the end and you realize, well, he actually did. And in that
Spoiler
movie,
alert.
I think actually they'll. But actually, another important concept and like idea in that movie that's covered is how boys will tend to side with their boys regardless of
Yep.
what's right. And because obviously his friends were like, some of them knew what had happened, but they wouldn't tell the police because he's my bro.
Yep.
Which again, I think that's another important thing, that like this girl was obviously so scarred. Everything's like, everyone at her campus hates her, etc. And the boys are just blatantly lying.
Yeah.
Also in that, I think the female lead, I've forgotten her name. The
Kiara
female
Advani.
lead,
It
that's
looks a
it.
lot
Yeah,
like.
Kiara
Wait, is it
Advani.
actually
So
Kiara?
It is Kiara Advani.
yeah, it is. It
Oh.
is. Yeah. So it's kind of how she goes from completely siding with her boyfriend 100% to being the one who like tells the whole school what actually happened. So it also shows that nice transition from kind of how she realized what the truth was, and even though she hated this girl.
Mm.
Oh no.
She just froze.
So yeah, of the
You
did
froze
he
at the
rape,
end.
did he not? But
Yep.
yeah, my connection's unstable.
Complete
But yeah,
professionalism here.
it's like those two movies are really nice. Those are really nice contrasting movies because it's same theme, but obviously very different situations, scenarios, and reactions from
approaches,
society.
Yeah. And you actually mentioned something really, really important. Boys do back their friends, like their bros. Like they do back them in pretty much every situation. But something that like boys do need to realize. I will say I'm guilty sometimes of backing my friends when they've done the wrong thing. Obviously not rape. Like none of my friends are rapists. But obviously,
You don't know
like,
that.
well, as far as I'm aware, none of my friends are rapists. Obviously, I'm not going to back them if they are. But in certain situations where I haven't fully listened to the other side just because it's my friend, and yeah, it's entirely like we are guilty of it. But the thing is, in big situations, we do need to do what's right. Like loyalty can only play to a certain extent. If you can't always be loyal to someone who's done something incredibly wrong. You work towards, and I think that's something my friends are really good at. Like I know a bunch of my friends at university, they do, like, if I have done something wrong, again, disclaimer, not something as bad as rape. Like if I have done something wrong, like they do tell me, they do say you're wrong, which I think is a really important thing for all people to do. Like we do say support your friend. This is a form of supporting your friend. Don't let them run riot, because that's not the way. You pull them aside and you say, no, look, what you're doing is wrong. Obviously, if it's rape, like in the film, probably just pulling them aside is not what you need to do. But like that's the thing. It's really important to you back your people, but there is a line that you draw. So
I think with the topics such as rape, that there is a right and a wrong, and if he's saying that he's done it, then if the girl is saying that he's done it, then the chance of her going out of her way to lie, like unlike Section 375, she doesn't have anything to gain out of it. Like
yeah,
like she wouldn't lie about something like that. And if the guy has told his friends that he's done it, and if they do know, I haven't watched the movie, do they know?
Oh, they know, but they hide it.
Well, they saw the guy. Yeah, they saw it.
So he's done it, and it's wrong. So like loyalty can't cover that. Like that is wrong. There is no gray area.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I mean, it's also unsafe to assume that just because you can't see a motive that she wouldn't lie, because there are many crazy people out there who would lie. Like in this movie, she could have lied. Like in the way they showed her character in the beginning, she could have lied because she was obnoxious. She liked getting away. He rejected her. So, you know, there wasn't strong motive, but there was, like, if she, in her psycho mindset, there might have been.
Yeah. The important thing is to investigate the issue. Like, there are cases of motives, lack of motives. Even if you don't see a motive, like Arushi said, yeah, they could have lied. So, like, if you can't investigate the issue yourself, send it to someone who can. Get someone in who can support you, who can press the issue. Because you can't just say, like, oh, she's got a motive. He must not have raped her. He might have. Or you might go, oh, she hasn't got a motive. Well, he's terrible. Like, you can't just put people down based on motives. Otherwise, let's face it, the legal system in like every country would be completely destroyed. Like, you can't just run based off like, do they have a motive or not? You need to investigate the issue. And obviously, like, certain people can't investigate the issue. Getting someone who can. Like, if you report it and then they look into it and they go, oh, okay, maybe like they've got proper facts, then fine. If you don't report it because you've made up your mind about motives, that's not the way to go forward. And yeah, it's really important to raise these issues. Okay, slightly different kind of path. Who here has seen Article 15?
I haven't seen it, mate.
Haven't seen it?
Is that Ayushman Corona in it?
Yeah, I think we'll leave that one for a later episode. I think we all need to like talk about that one properly because it's about the caste system. I've seen most of it, but I wasn't in the mindset to take in what was going on. So that's obviously, anyone who's watching this video, you're not going to get any spoilers. So go and watch it. It's a great movie from what I saw. Again, I wasn't fully with it when I was watching it. Has anyone seen Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdan?
I have.
Okay, take us away.
So it's from the top of my head, there's not a lot of movies about like romantic rom-coms that are about homosexual relationships within Bollywood. So this was one that kind of approached it from that kind of romantic comedy type of perspective. And they had an established relationship, and it was just showing the struggle of one of the guy's families in order to accept both of them and the struggles that they have. And this was before Section 377 was legalized. So up until I think about, I want to say 2019 or 2018, it was still illegal to be homosexual in India. So it's not anymore, which we love. Happy Pride, everyone. But I liked it because it came from a perspective of like, it was exactly like, it had the same sort of vibe as like a Humpty Sharma Ki Dulhania, where it was literally a cheesy masala rom-com, you know, full with like Bollywood dance numbers, songs. They even had a train scene, which is such a big step because people would never think that they would see a train scene similar to DDLJ portraying people like them, like a boy or a girl and a girl. So I think it was really poignant and really important as a step forward in Hindi cinema, because at the end of the day, representation matters and people want to see more people like them. So I think it was a really good movie, and it is funny. Like, the jokes are funny, so I'd really recommend that you go watch it, because like, it is like a legit masala movie, so you will like genuinely like it, even if you don't like Ayushmann Khurrana.
Wait, who doesn't like him?
No.
What's your...
I just don't like. I literally have no reason. Like, honestly, like I'm not even gonna take time speaking about this because I have no reason. I just don't like him.
Oh, good.
It's just fair enough, but like, it is a good. It's genuinely funny. Like, it is a good movie.
I love him. He's great.
Yeah, I won't take any slander against my guy. He's
Dream Girl, iconic. He did amazing.
Dream Girl is amazing. We can actually
Andhadhun.
Oh, what a movie!
Oh, everyone go watch Andhadhun. It's on Netflix.
What we're gonna do in this next section is, now that you guys have started talking about an actor, before we get into, because now we're going to talk about like the movie making aspect of film. So we're going to talk about commercial movies and movies that are made for being movies. Okay, so back again. This is our next section. We're going to talk about movies and movie making. Suki's still not ready. Suki, what is this lack of professionalism today?
What is
I'm allowed
in
to
that
drink
mug?
water on screen. What do you mean?
Okay,
Why have you
so
got water in a mug?
Wow. It's because I don't want to drink from a bottle. That's unprofessional. Come on.
all right.
Uh,
So what was I saying? So basically, we're gonna start talking about like movies, commercial movies, how well they were made, and what they were trying to do, and all sorts. I'm gonna start off with War, because this was quite controversial when we discussed it earlier. Because I said I loved it, and then you guys said it's a bad movie.
It was whack.
And we didn't
Yes.
we didn't fully
Impartial.
agree to start off with. So
Yeah.
what we'll do to start off with is give everyone a quick rundown of what the kind of movie is about. It's your typical action thriller, kind of. So you got like a rogue. He's a raw agent, isn't he? A rogue raw agent. That's what we're gonna roll with. And he goes off rogue, and he's got like his little protege who's like trying to find him. Turns out the protege is dead, and he's actually like got a facelift and
Been
it's the
cloned.
yeah, he's basically been cloned, because they say it's a facelift, but his entire body's changed. And
And his voice.
we won't go into all those intricacies. But what I was basically saying about this movie is, it is not a good movie in that you look at that movie, like the previous movies that we've talked about, and like maybe some of the movies we're going to talk about after. It's not one of those movies where you look at it and you go, oh wow, that is cinematic masterpiece at its finest. You're not going to do that. You're going to look at it and go, right, I'm switching my brain off. Like there's going to be a song with a girl in a bikini. There's going to be guns. There's going to be cars. There's going to be like fighting, and that is what I'm here to see. And the thing is, it's not pretentious. Like that's what I appreciated about that film. Like it didn't try and be too clever. And we're actually going to mention a movie later on that tries to be too clever for its own good. But like it does everything that a silly action movie does. Like it's got a ridiculous thing, like obviously that weird facelift thing. It's got your government's chasing you and you're doing something bad, but actually you're the good guy. What? It's got a car chase scene. They're in the Arctic for some reason. It's got everything that you kind of need, and that's what I respect about it. Like for example, I don't know if you guys have seen Saho. Saho is one of those movies that thinks it's too good for its own good, but it's rubbish. And that's the thing. Like when you make an action movie, I feel like you've got to appreciate that you're not making a good movie which has got a bunch of smart stuff around it. You're making a silly movie that's going to bring in a load of money, and also Tiger Shroff's in it, Hrithik Roshan's in it. So let's be real, that's what people are here to see. So
People want to see them dance together. That's what they got.
exactly. So that's the thing. Like you got to respect action movies that do things like that. Do you guys have any thoughts on War? Because I know you guys did not like it, or either you just thought it's terrible.
Well, personally, I was impartial to it, so I watched it.
Yeah.
With my family, and like there wasn't a bit where we were like, oh, this is really good, this fight scene is really good. It was just like we were all sat there in the end and we were just like, what? Sorry, how? How did they go from literally the Arctic tundra to a decapitated church to then him revealing that he's had a face transplant, and literally the boy that you were rooting for the entire movie is number one, the bad guy, and number two, just not the character that you initially thought anyway. Like it was just
I thought it was okay, and I understood everything, like your points, Manny, until they revealed that it's a face transplant.
Yeah, that was
like, maybe if they said something else, like a clone.
A clone would make more sense.
I don't know.
It?
Whatever.
No, it
It would have
wouldn't.
made more
A
sense.
clone wouldn't make more sense.
It would have.
Have you watched
More sense than a face transplant?
It makes more sense than a face transplant.
Yeah, true. Because to be fair, they did make a face transplant, which was like a full transplant. Like, I'm sorry, the guy before did not have Tiger Shroff's body. I don't think normal human beings have Tiger Shroff's body. So you don't just like change his face and suddenly he's got like.
And he had like a scar here, a scar here, a scar here, and he was like, yeah, face transplant.
Yeah, 10 out of
Really,
10.
yeah.
My dad didn't like that bit. We were like, because he's in cosmetic, he did not like that bit. He was like, no,
Your
no,
dad's
no.
in cosmetics. Wow.
Okay, like let's not get into
Well, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, he did not like that bit. He was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, it's like a doctor watching Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I feel like it achieved what it needed to achieve. Like the film, what it set out to do, it did it. Like
it did it well. Like it did well in the box office.
It did
there will
very
probably
well.
be a
Like,
sequel.
there
Like
definitely will be a sequel, and it will be absolute garbage, and it will be so bad that we won't enjoy it. Like this, we enjoy. Well, I enjoyed.
War 2.
War 2 will not be enjoyed. Like, what do you do? The second one's going to be like, I stand by it. Sequels are never good. There might be one or two exceptions, but sequels tend to never be good, and especially a sequel to something stupid will never be good. So
like a bug. Like let's take for example another Tiger Shroff movie, Bargy. It's so.
Bargy 1 was bad. Like Bargy 1
was bad. So why did they decide to make 2 more? And there's no see the point with a sequel, right? Even if you look at like let's say Krish or Koi Milga, there's a continuation of the characters. The characters that you fell in love with in the first movie are there throughout. Like the Fast and
Bargy's
Furious.
ridiculous. Like
there's just new movies that are just part of the franchise.
Like, let me just put this into context now that you've brought up Buggy, because we are going to talk about Buggy 3 later, because it's a remake of a Tamil movie, which I'm not happy with. But we'll get into that in a bit. Like, the thing with Buggy is, the two main characters in Buggy 1 are Ronnie and Sia, so Tiger Shroff and Shraddha Kapoor. The two main, and Shraddha is like, she's just your token female, so she doesn't really do anything. Ronnie is like a martial artist. He's like, I guess he's in his early 20s and he's coming to learn martial arts.
Yeah.
Then in the second movie, Ronnie is a soldier in the Indian army, but he's not like a normal soldier. He's one of them black ops soldiers. So he's a soldier. He's definitely much older, but he's a soldier all of a sudden. And his mentor in the first movie, who was a martial artist who died, is now the captain of their battalion. And I'm like, okay, cool, we'll work with that. And the female lead is Disha Patni. Terrible actress.
He's not Shraddha Kapoor.
Yeah, exactly. So, and she's someone else called Neha, and it's like, okay, fine. And she's his ex-girlfriend from university, which he apparently went to, even though in the first one he didn't go to uni. So what's going on there? And then in the third movie, he's now Ronnie and Sia are back, like both.
But they're not Ronnie and Sia from the first one.
Yeah, exactly. They're just Ronnie, who's like this fucking, like jobless, like bad boy, and Sia, who's just horrible to everyone up until like partway through where she falls in love with him, and then all of a sudden he's got a brother, which is great. Oh man, Buggy's so ridiculous, like it's unbelievable. But we'll move past.
I bet you there's more.
If they make a Buggy 4, that's disgraceful. But
it's so much money. Like why do you think there's so many housefuls? Because it brings in the money.
But that's so disgraceful. And now that we've gone off on one, I'm gonna bring up Buggy 3 because it's a remake of a Tamil movie called Vete, which is, I'm not gonna say it's an amazing movie, but it's okay. Like as Tamil movies go, it's fine. The general concept is, in the Tamil movie, the concept is like it's a very sensible concept. So they're in a normal town. There's two brothers. Like their dad dies. The dad is a policeman, and their dad dies. And the older brother is, for lack of a better word, a pussyo, and the younger brother is like this. He's hard. Okay. So basically, whenever the older brother gets into fights, which is a surprising amount of times for someone who's scared, like the younger brother comes in and like beats up the bad guys, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got my little brother. What are you gonna do?" Which is like, okay, fine, we'll roll with it. And like the dad dies, but the younger brother's got like a bunch of like, he's got a bunch of like cases against him because he's fighting people all the time. So they make the pussy older brother into a cop. Great. And what he does is basically every time, and there's this big like goon there's two big goons in the town. What he does is basically every time he goes to arrest them, he gets his little brother to go beat them up, but he's wearing a mask so no one can see that it's him. And then he brings back like either the stolen money or the kidnapped child or whatever, and they're like, oh wow, he's a great cop, when no one actually knows that it's his little brother doing all the fighting. I know it sounds ridiculous, but as Tamil movies go, it's okay. Like, and then what happens after that? And then basically the goons figure out that it's the older brother who, like, they figured out the little system, so they beat up the older brother, and the little brother's like, okay, let's make him as hard as me. So there's like this one little workout montage, and then both of them are like hardcore, and then they beat up the bad guy, and that's the end of that. But it's all in one town, so it kind of makes sense. Like it's all in one town. You've got goons. It's generally like if this was happening in Chennai, obviously like the whole thing about the older brother, big brother, little brother thing is like, okay, no. But like if this was happening in Chennai, like police trying to find a couple of goons and like there's a bit of goon warfare, then like fine, you're like, all right, this kind of makes sense. What doesn't make sense?
Rishi energy.
So what I was saying, I started recording. Okay, so basically what I was saying is, so yeah, it sounds a bit ridiculous, but Baghi 3, like,
why is he on his ones fighting the entirety of Syria?
Yeah, that's the thing. The bad guy
sounds like Rambo, but
is some
worse.
like militant like leader from Syria, and this like guy he's just jobless. I'll be real with you. He's just jobless, and he's a bit hard. And like his older brother goes off to Syria. I don't know why they're sending policemen from India to go do like assignments against militant groups in Syria.
Doesn't the older brother just need to do like some paperwork?
Yeah, but why is it in Syria? Like I know, like
email them.
Yeah, like, yo, can you give us our families back? Like, what? Like, this is, yeah, but it's ridiculous, right? Why are you sending a policeman from India to go to Syria against a militant group to go save a bunch of kidnapped people? Cool. I don't know. Is there world police? That sounds a bit ridiculous, but like, deal with it. Deal with it some other way. Don't send some Indian Donny to go off and like.
You don't need one guy to do it. You need more than one person to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So they send him off, and then Tiger Shroff, who is, let's face it, he's Captain America by this stage, like rocks up, like beats up a bunch of guys. Like, I'm sorry, like yeah, we get this. There were certain bits of
he's invisible if he's Mr. India.
Oh, my bad. All right, sorry.
Cool.
Carry on.
Okay.
Top banter. That's what you get on this channel, guys. So yeah. So basically, I don't know. Like some of this. Yeah, fine. There's always a lack of realism in certain like movies, like especially action movies. There's gonna be like obviously like the church in the Arctic, which is like why is it even there? Or like putting their head through like stone and being like, well, you're completely unharmed. What's going on? I cannot tolerate him standing in the middle, surrounded by tanks, getting shot at, and him just being like, well, I'm fine.
Yeah,
like,
he's literally running away, like in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, like they run away from the bulls. Like he's just like, out for a jog.
Yeah, it's like, there's one point, right, where he puts up one of them tripwires, and like a car comes, it hits the tripwire and like flips, explodes, the shrapnel goes past him, misses him, and he's just standing there like, look at my abs. And then like everything's just kind of flying past him, and you're like, how is like genuinely this explosion has stormtrooper aim? Like, what the hell's going on? Like all the shrapnel's just going past him. Like a couple of them cut him, but it's Tiger Shroff. He's made of steel, and he's just standing there like, oh well, I'm gonna be completely unharmed. And then at the end they tried to pull off this, oh, the older brother's hard now, but he's not. Basically, Tiger Shroff gets like, he's dead. Like I stand by this. He's dead. Like he's been stabbed a bunch of times. And like he's lying on the ground, and what they do is like Ritesh Deshmukh rocks up and just like hits the bad guy with a bunch of rocks, and they're like, oh no, don't die, and the bad guy wakes up again, and so does Tiger Shroff, kills him. It's a terrible movie. I hate that they remade it. I hate that it's worse than the remake. It makes me so angry, and we're gonna move past it because we're running out of time on Zoom. So go. Yeah, I just had a hissy fit about Baghi 3. We won't go into that too much. Does anyone want to kick us off with Marjoan?
So
yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I really like Siddharth Malhotra. I've liked him since Student of the Year. I genuinely think that he is good at looking good. Like, you know, he looks very pretty.
No.
He's good at looking good.
That doesn't qualify someone to be an actor.
Yeah. Well, someone should tell Karan Johar.
Yeah.
The thing is, right, he tries very hard, and I said this the other day as well. Bollywood, the way his career, his track record is going, it kind of seems like all of Bollywood is trying to kind of mold him and redirect him into this like angry young fighter man, kind of reminiscent of like Amitabh from the 70s and the early 80s, where like he used to Dawn, Agnipat, like those type of movies. Like trying to remold him into that kind of box, but there is only one Amitabh, you know. You can't, like, you know, you can't recreate that type of thing. So,
and also Siddharth Malhotra is a bad actor. Like he's very bad.
But I was just trying to say that diplomatically and nicely, just in case.
Yeah, we don't need to be diplomatic.
You don't need to be nice on this.
We say it as it is. He's a terrible actor, and I stand by that.
Continue. Yeah, and he can't dance at all.
Yeah.
But Marjava could have had potential if it was made in the year 1987. It could have had great potential.
Very specific.
That's exactly what Manny said, bro. Like.
Yeah. No, we already had this conversation, Suki. You're late.
Yeah.
Exactly the year 1987.
But we haven't said it on the podcast, so well done.
If it was made in the year 1987, it would have been very successful. It would have done well. It was in that exact track record of like kind of like thriller, romance, angry young man. Like it would have done really well then. Yeah. But now the story seems dated. The whole thing seems dated, and Siddharth just keeps doing the same type of movies with like different people. You know, that Snoop Dogg meme where it's the same person. You know, it's Snoop Dogg, but he's just like wearing different hats and different wigs. Basically, is Siddharth Malhotra's career, because he's done A Gentleman, Brothers, Ig Villain, this. You know. Yeah,
he needs to stop acting. But hey, we don't hold back on this channel.
We can definitely say he's the least successful student out of the three.
Yeah, definitely. He's also the worst actor out of those three. But I really don't like him, as you might be able to tell.
I couldn't.
Could you not? Oh, okay. Well, thank you, because I was trying to be subtle about it, but I can't stand him in his acting because he's terrible. He's got no delivery, and he just shouldn't be an actor. But we'll move past it. What I don't like about that movie as well is, like, it took a bunch of good people as well and made them bad. Like Ritesh Deshmukh, I didn't like him in that movie, and he's a good actor.
He's a good actor.
Nasser, they shouldn't have ruined him as well. Like they kind of did what Nasser does in like every movie, but it's like, come on. And also like Tara Sutaria's, like, it's just bad on her that this is her best movie where she doesn't speak at all. Like
out of the two that she's done.
Yeah, and she was way better in this movie because she didn't speak. We won't go into it, but like, yeah, you're right. It's a 70s kind of movie, but also like the story. Like I told the story to you two. I don't know if it was both of you. I definitely told it to Suki. Like I told you what the story sounded like, and Suki, your reaction was, "Well, this is ridiculous. I'm not gonna go watch it." Like, yeah, I know. And it's true. Like I watched this in the cinemas, so big shout out to Raina for making this choice. God, we're not. No, to be fair, she was on a good track record. She picked Dreamgirl, so we were like, okay. But oh man, like it's just such a terrible movie. Like there's no saving grace about it apart from the songs, which we will come to later because we have
a second. Okay, wait. I mean, I know there's one that stands out that I really, really, really dislike.
They are remakes. Let's just put it out there. They are remakes, or most of them are remakes.
Yeah.
Kidna Sona is a remake. Ek To Kam Zindagani is a remake.
Yes.
Piu Datke is a remake.
Oh man,
what about Mazakili? It's so whack.
We'll no, that's not part of this movie. That is
we'll get into that in a bit because we have a song section coming up. But yeah, Moja One, absolutely terrible. Like, and even Rakul was terrible in this movie as well. Like, just everyone's terrible. She's let's face it. She's there. She's like shame. In the. She's there. She's there. She's a prostitute, and she doesn't really do much. She's like Siddharth Malhotra's girlfriend, which is great. And then she's not because he falls in love with this girl who can't speak.
She loves him, and he don't love her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but to be fair, with his face, you can never know. Like his fucking bland delivery. Just never know. To be honest, I wasn't fully convinced that he was in love with thorough, even though they said it a bunch of times, because he didn't seem sad about it.
Did she say it back though?
Well, I don't know.
She can't speak, can she? So.
But did
And she still had more emotion than she did in Student of the Year. Oh man, she was so annoying in Student of the Year.
Oh my god.
But we won't go into
such a rubbish film.
Let's move into a slightly better film, Malung. I'm guessing all of you have seen it.
Slightly better. Slightly better.
Only slightly. Only very slightly.
I don't know. Me and Suki enjoyed it. Don't lie to me. You enjoyed it. Don't try.
You're very quiet. So
stay with your
I
chest.
think you should speak.
I think, you know what, for what it set out to achieve, I think it was a good film. You know, it had a bit of everything to it. Like,
yeah, definitely.
It was a decent plot. Like, Disha's not really a great actress.
No, she's not.
She's terrible.
She
was only in it. She's like Katrina from the early 2010s, where she's only in it for her abs and her legs.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, Aditya Roy Kapoor was actually convincing. I liked Anil Kapoor in it as well.
Yeah, Anil Kapoor was such a boss in that movie. Or a legend.
Yeah, I think you can watch it once. You know, it's a good time. No alcohol required.
I've seen it 5 times.
You watch it once.
You've seen it 5 times. It's not that good.
No, not because it's good. Basically, the first time I watched it was because I was really looking forward to it. So I watched it when it came out on Netflix. And then I watched it with, I think, like a bunch of my friends from uni. Then Suki hadn't seen it, so I watched it with Suki. Then my dad hadn't seen it, so I watched it with my dad. And by the end of it...
But you know what happens. What's the point of a thriller if you know what happens?
I don't know.
Like watching Now You See Me, but you know all the magic tricks.
To be fair, Now You See Me is about magic. What?
Wait,
yeah.
what?
Oh, thanks for spoiling it, man. I've seen Now You See Me. That was a joke. What was I saying? Good. So it's not because I like. To be fair, I kind of wanted to see it to see like how these people like how they react to it. I want to see if like I enjoy watching like people's reaction to films. I know if that's weird, but like I do. So that's why I watch movies a bunch of times with different people. So there's a little insight into my hobbies. Yeah, moving on.
Wait, what did you guys hate about it? Like, what did you dislike about it?
No, I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. I think it was a one-time watch.
It was a one-time watch. I watched it once. It was okay. Again, I've seen movies that are better. I've seen movies that are worse. If I had to put it, I'd say Malang was definitely better than Murder Jabba, but there was definitely bits of Malang that I couldn't watch. That were just hard.
What do you mean you couldn't watch?
Like that at the end where he rapes her. Oh my god, that was such a hard scene to watch, and where he's like starts beating up his wife.
Oh,
that was horrible to watch.
That was rough.
That was intense.
But it was supposed to be like that, you know. It's quite a gritty movie.
I can't lie though.
Anil Kapoor,
Anil Kapoor on drugs going around saying shubu shubu before he beats people up just makes me so happy.
No, in that
Anil Kapoor is such a legend.
I didn't understand what was wrong with him. Like, what was
His
what was
daughter
the whole
daughter dies, so he just goes into a downward spiral.
No, sorry, no, not Anil Kapoor. The guy who's beating up his wife, the one who
he was raped as a child.
Actually...
No, he was not.
Okay.
Yes, he was.
No, his dad beats his mom, so his mom beat him, and so his mom basically said he wasn't a man, so that's why he's got this whole thing that he's got to be a man and prove he's a man.
See,
and
I had the impression, so I checked on Wikipedia, and that's what it said on Wikipedia, that he was sexually abused as a child, and therefore
I thought he was just beaten up and
feel like a man.
His mum
they don't specifically say it, and so I was just a bit confused.
To be fair, when at one point where he goes, she realized, I thought that he didn't.
I thought he didn't have her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, what?
Exactly.
So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So Malang was fun. Do you guys have
it was good. It was nice. It was nice scenery. Like, it was beautiful seeing. Maybe we've been in lockdown for too long, but it was really beautiful seeing like Goa, seeing a different side to India, because you don't really see that type of side, do you?
It made it seem more like a tourist destination.
Yeah. Or like the nice beaches.
And the soundtrack was very good.
Big ratings.
We'll get into that in a bit. But the thing is, like, as well about Malang, it's kind of the opposite of Marjawan in that, like, Malang is a very modern movie. Like, it touched on a lot of like modern issues, like the drugs and like all that kind of stuff. And like it was set up in a really modern way, and like people going on holiday, going to parties and stuff like that. That kind of thing was nice. And it worked for a younger audience as well. Like, so it kind of made sense in that way. And yeah, it is a one-time watch. I just watch it a lot because I've got a weird hobby of watching people watch movies. So here we are. But yeah, so does anyone have any other movies they want to touch on before we talk about our big soundtrack problem?
Nothing at the moment, mate.
No?
Haven't really been. I think the most recent like big movies that have been released have been Baghi 3, Malang,
Bad.
Shubh Mangal, Zyada Saaf Nan, and
I
Papa.
watched Badla yesterday for the first time.
Oh,
What
So
a good
good.
movie. What
Oh, I
a
haven't
film.
seen it yet.
Yo, go watch
Okay,
it
wait.
tonight.
So
yeah,
good. It's
no
so
spoilers.
good.
In fact, yeah, we could do a Netflix party tonight if you guys are down.
I just
Ooh.
watched it yesterday.
Yeah, she has to wait like 3 weeks before she
Also, the
rewatches
suspense
it.
is all gone. But like, okay.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie.
Only
Okay,
Manny likes
we-
rewatching
You
movies
watch it.
12 times.
Now make
Just
sure you
in
do it on
case.
House Party so we can see your reaction.
Exactly. Make sure. Yeah, but we won't talk about Bad Love because audience go watch it. It's an amazing movie.
I don't want to say
Um,
anything to like, yeah, just
Yeah,
go.
exactly. Okay, so now we're going to talk about fun soundtrack issue. Let's get professional, people. All right, let's talk about songs. Let's get vexed. Are we ready? Let's go. Talk about how songs are being remade in horrible, horrible ways. Who wants to kick us off?
Yeah,
I
go on.
think Tanea has a lot to say on this.
Tanea
So
looks
I have been
angry.
very vocal about this for a very long time.
Yep.
If you ask Guruji and Saki, I've been saying this. There is no. The point is, right? Why do you remake songs? It's because you have no original ideas of your own. I remember the first remake was like there was so many. There was like whole time. 2017 was the year of remakes. Almost in every single movie, there was at least one song that was a remake. Whether it was a remake from a Punjabi song, a Bollywood song, there's probably going to be remakes of Tamil. There's been remakes of Tamil songs for so long, you know. A.R. Rahman, remakes his own music, doesn't he? With
Sometimes.
different lyrics. And I get so annoyed because the reason that people like those songs is for a reason. Okay, let's take Jingat, for example. In Marathi, Jingat means something. I don't know what it means. Like, it means like, boo, yeah. Something like that.
Okay, cool.
It's like mass in Tamil. Or like,
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
What
So,
is
like,
it in Hindi?
Sorry. I don't know what
You
it means
tell
in
me. You tell me, why did they remake that entire movie? Why did they remake that song? You know?
And with Janvi Kapoor and that one Ishan guy.
That one Ishan guy.
They're both kind of dead actors, I'm not gonna lie.
Are they the direct result of nepotism?
Oh,
So
that's
just
a
use
whole...
a fancy
I
word.
don't know about Ishan. What's his name?
Yeah,
Ishan. I don't know.
Ishan's Shahid Kapoor's half brother.
No way.
Ooh, nepotism.
Way.
They don't
Legit.
even look alike.
That's because they're half of
Why did you lick your lips when you said that?
You're
It's 'cause
so creepy.
No, it was a joke. Obviously, I get it. They're half brothers.
I'm
That's what
keeping
saying.
that in the
Wow.
editing.
They don't even look alike. Man, I don't want to explain my jokes every time.
Stop making unfunny jokes.
They are funny. I just laughed. Moving on. Yeah.
So I don't get why it was remade. Chikni Chameli is another song that was Marathi first and then remade. These are all Ajay Atul songs. So basically Ajay Atul does what Rahman does.
Yeah, Ajay Atul are
Ajay
legendary
Atul,
composers.
two
They're like my
different people.
favorite composers. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
No,
they
but
did.
They're
Do
sick.
you know who's really bad? Danish Kabagchi. Oh my days.
Wait,
Gosh,
I like
mate.
Dunia. That's a Tonic.
But that's a remake
Yeah.
of a Punjabi song.
What?
No,
I
Are
love
you real?
Dunia.
Yeah.
it's such a good song.
I can't
What's
like
the
it.
original?
Old.
I'm learning to do it on
Dunia.
the guitar. I feel so gassed.
Wait. They're both called Dunia. That's confusing.
Nice.
Basically, when they remake Punjabi songs, what they do is they take let's take a legal weapon, for example. So they take it, and obviously a Punjabi song is a
That hurts
Punjabi
my
song.
heart.
And they literally just change some of the words for Hindi, you know? So the first line in Illegal Weapon is, what is it?
Good one.
Bro, I'm not a very avid Punjabi speaker. Oh yeah, that
That's
line.
Yeah,
the
that is the first
Yeah,
line of the song.
basically, thank you, Arushi. And they changed even they literally changed that in the Bollywood.
Oh man. Street
Well,
Dance
it's
in
not even
3D is
really a
actually
remake.
criminal with the theft that they've done of songs. Oh my
Sip
days.
Sip 2.0.
They butchered them. They butchered
How
them.
can you make Sip Sip 2? Sip Sip is such a vibe.
Sip Sip is a classic. I've been bopping Sip Sip since about 2018. Have we not, Arushi? Have we not been bopping Sip Sip for time now? And when it was redone, it actually breaks my heart. And when my dad plays the Bollywood versions rather than the Punjabi versions, I'm not a happy bunny.
How can you do that?
What movie did a remake of Lamborghini? Because that hurt my soul too.
Oh,
J
Mummy
Mummy
D.
D.
Oh my.
Which looks like a horrific movie.
I've watched genuinely 2 minutes of it. I couldn't continue.
Why would you remake that song? Number one.
They remade what's her name? Sunanda Sharma's song as well.
Yeah, Meri Mummy no pasand nahi tu.
Yeah, but that's not the name of the original song. It's called Jani Tere Na. How can you?
Jani Tere Na.
That's actually criminal. And the new version is terrible. I hate it.
That's what I mean. They literally changed like some bits and make it Hindi for no reason. For why?
But
if you want the original song, and they never even credit it, they just take it as their own. Do you ever see?
No, they must. They obviously
they give them a payment,
like
a royalty payment or something.
Yeah.
That's not enough. I need people to know.
Well, no, but
the original.
I'm pretty sure it is enough. If Jasmine Sandlas has agreed to have it, it must be enough to compensate for the damage done. She must be very happy with her money.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure all these artists get paid. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure they're fine.
That's downright theft.
But it's just like the audience were like, "Come on!" And you know what annoys me more than these movies? Like, yeah, they shouldn't have remade their songs, and yeah, the remakes are terrible, but at least it's in the movie. Masakali 2.0 and PU.K are not in the movie.
PU.K is a remake of a Rajasthani folk song about. I don't know. Apparently, no, I don't even know what it's about. But it's a remake of a remake.
It's like they're not in the movies. They've just got the characters from the movies. It's like no one wants to see Sid and Tara again. Like they were bad enough in the movies. Why do we see them again?
Why is Nusrat Bharucha in it anyway?
I don't know. Like,
no. Masakali 2.0 was a whack.
At least in Ek To Kam Zindagani, it was in the movie. You know, it kind of tied in. We love a bit of Nora Fatehi. Like, you can't go wrong.
We love a lot of Nora Fatehi. But go on.
Oh, whoa, chill.
Hey, for her dancing, Suki, God.
Keep it in your pants.
Right. Point is, it made sense in the movie.
Yeah.
But PU.K, Masakali 2.0 don't even. They both die in the end. What is this, like them in heaven?
Oh, that's actually a really good. Yeah.
No, it's not.
I never thought about it like that.
No, and also, if that's heaven, they're wearing he's wearing a suit and she's wearing a dress.
They sneak into a hotel. Why are they sneaking into a hotel in heaven?
They just dance around a bathtub. Like, what kind of heaven is this?
Bakwas.
Yeah.
No, there's no way it's heaven if it's got Sid still acting. I'll be real with you.
There's no reason for you to be that mean to him. Like, he didn't do anything to you.
I wouldn't have it, mate.
His acting hurts my heart. Sid, if you ever watch this, I don't love you.
I'm sure he'll get over it. I'm sure you'll find a way.
Yeah. Have we got any other like movie like songs that we want to be like are terrible from their remix?
Bomb Diggy Diggy.
Absolutely. They remade that.
Horrifying. Yeah, you know the original one isn't in Sonu Ki Jeetu Ki Sweetie. There's like an original one with Jasmine Wali and Zach Knight.
I did not know that. That's
what?
I've only heard
so
the
much
one
better as well.
It is.
I've only heard the one with Zach Knight. That one guy.
I've seen Zach Knight live.
So have we. You ain't special.
Well, I'm special because I'm the only one who hasn't seen him live. So.
Oh, you're cool. Oh man, I'm not editing any of this stuff out. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, everything is staying in.
Nice. All right.
Have we got any other things that we want to touch on today before we wrap up?
No.
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Are we good?
We are.
Cool. Well, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed opinions. Don't destroy us in the comments, please. You can if you want, I don't really care. And also, I hope you enjoyed the little drops of banter that we had sprinkled across the podcast. Yeah, and I hope everyone's keeping safe, keeping happy, and yeah, really taking our messages from earlier, the really important stuff about taking care of your people. And like I said, anything that I said was going to be linked in the description will be linked in the description. And it is currently, I want to say Wednesday. No, it's not. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. Podcast should be out on Friday. So yeah, I don't know why
tomorrow or next Friday, or just a Friday in general.
It would just be a Friday at some
Friday.
Point. Some Friday. It would just be
like course of time.
You guys will be going on YouTube, and for some reason you put my name into YouTube, and like this podcast will appear on a Friday. So yeah,
please let us know.
So
when it's up.
Fuck's sake. Oh no, I started recording again.